Sarah noticed it on a Tuesday. Nothing special about the day. She was standing in line at a coffee shop, half asleep, scrolling through her phone just to kill the time, and she glanced up, right as the screen locked. 11:11. She didn't think much of it. Who does? You see a clock, you see some numbers, you move on with your life. She got her coffee, sat by the window, and forgot about it completely. Until that night. She was checking out at the grocery store. She glanced down at the receipt in her hand. $11.11. That's when it got a little strange. Not scary strange. Just noticeable. The kind of thing that makes you pause. Just for a second. Before you shake your head and move on. She mentioned it to her sister that night, almost as a joke. Weird coincidence, she said. Her sister laughed. Oh, that happens to me all the time. That's your angel number. Sarah had never heard that phrase before, not once in her life, but now it was sitting in her head. And here's the thing about a phrase like that. Once it's in there, it doesn't stay quiet. 3 nights later, she woke up for no reason at all. Rolled over, checked the time. 11:11. She lay there in the dark for a while with that one. Because something had shifted. Her mind was doing something it doesn't usually do. Searching. Not for an explanation exactly, just paying closer attention. The way you do when you think you've lost something important. And suddenly every shadow in the room looks like it could be it. By the end of that week, she was seeing it everywhere. A license plate at a red light. The total on a parking meter. A page number in the book on her nightstand. She started to wonder if she was losing her mind a little, or if something bigger was going on. So she did what most of us do. She searched it. 30 seconds later, she had her answer, or a version of one. Thousands of posts, videos, forum threads, all saying roughly the same thing. 1111 is a message from the universe, from your guardian angels, a sign you're on the right path, that alignment is coming, that you should pay attention to whatever you were thinking right in that exact moment because something important is trying to reach you. It felt good to read. Honestly, it felt like being seen. But underneath the comfort of that explanation, a quieter question was sitting there too. One she couldn't quite shake. Is this actually happening to me? Or is something happening inside me? That's really the question at the center of all this. Not just for Sarah, for millions of people who've felt some version of the exact same thing, the number that keeps finding you, the coincidence that feels too specific to be nothing. Are we actually receiving something, or is there a much more human explanation hiding just underneath the mystery? Let's sit with that for a minute, because the answer is more interesting than either side wants to admit. Here's something psychologists have understood for a long time. Your brain isn't built to notice everything around you. It can't be. There's simply too much information in the world for your conscious mind to process all of it. So your brain filters, constantly, invisibly, without asking your permission, deciding moment to moment what deserves your attention and what quietly gets ignored. Most of the time, this runs so smoothly, you never even notice it's happening. But every once in a while, something changes the settings. A word, an idea, a feeling, and suddenly your brain starts treating that thing as important, worth flagging, worth pulling out of the noise. There's a name for what happens next. Psychologists call it the frequency illusion. You might know it by its nickname, the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. It's that experience of learning a new word and then suddenly hearing it everywhere. Or looking at a car model you're thinking about buying and suddenly seeing it on every street. It's not that the world made more of that thing appear. It's that your brain quietly changed what it was scanning for. Think back to that one sentence from Sarah's sister. That's your angel number. That was the moment the setting flipped. Before that conversation, 1111 was just a number. No different from 347 or 922. After it, her brain had a new instruction running quietly in the background. Flag this one. And so it did, over and over. There's a second piece to this, just as important. Confirmation bias, the tendency to notice and remember the moments that confirm what we already believe, and quietly let the moments that don't slip by, unnoticed. Sarah never counted the hundreds of times she glanced at a clock and saw something completely unremarkable. Those moments left no impression, nothing to remember. But the handful of times it read 11:11, those got filed away, replayed, talked about, turned into a pattern. None of this makes what Sarah felt any less real. That part matters. The goosebumps, the pause, the sense that something meaningful just happened. That emotional experience genuinely occurred. What's actually in question isn't the feeling, it's where the meaning came from. Now, here's where it gets more complicated, because this isn't really a story with one correct side. For a lot of people across a lot of spiritual and religious traditions, numbers have carried real symbolic weight, not as some modern trend, as something ancient, something people have taken seriously for thousands of years. Long before anyone called them angel numbers, people were looking to numbers for structure, for meaning, for a sense that the universe was patterned, somehow, not just random. That instinct is old. It's deeply human. Dismissing it entirely misses something real about why this belief resonates with so many people. What's actually new, much newer than most people assume, is the specific modern practice. Repeating digits like 1111 and 444, popularized largely through books and social media over the last couple of decades. That framing is recent, but the deeper instinct underneath it, the desire to find meaning in the world instead of just moving through random noise, that part is ancient. And psychology doesn't dismiss it either. It's actually one of the most well-documented drives in human behavior. So maybe the mistake isn't believing there's meaning in the moment. Maybe the mistake is assuming the meaning has to come from outside you. 'Cause here's a question worth sitting with. Out of every number that could theoretically catch your attention throughout your day, why that one? Why does 1111 stop you specifically right now at this particular point in your life? Maybe it's not really about the number at all. Maybe the number is just the trigger. The thing your unusually alert mind happened to grab onto because some part of you was already searching for a reason to pause. A relationship you're unsure about, a decision you keep avoiding, a version of your life you haven't let yourself want out loud yet. Your attention has to land somewhere, and it tends to land on whatever's already sitting close to the surface, waiting for permission to be noticed. That reframes the whole thing, doesn't it? Not, the universe is sending me a message. Something quieter, something more intimate, honestly. Your own mind using a number as an excuse to finally get your attention on something you've been avoiding. So next time it happens to you, the clock, the receipt, the license plate, try a different question. Not, what does this number mean? Ask yourself this instead: what was I just thinking about right before I noticed it? You don't need to believe in angels to take that question seriously, and you don't need to dismiss the mystery to explain it either. Both things can be true at once. Your brain really is doing something remarkable, filtering, searching, connecting dots in the background without asking you first. And the moment still might be worth paying attention to, not because the number is magic, but because your own mind chose to hand it to you for a reason. Sarah still sees 1111 sometimes. She doesn't chase it anymore. She doesn't dismiss it either. Now, when it happens, she just pauses for a second and asks herself what's actually on her mind. Sometimes the answer surprises her. Sometimes it doesn't. But she stopped needing the number to be magic for the moment to matter. Maybe that's the real story here. Not a secret message hidden in a clock, just a quiet reminder, however it arrives, to stop and ask yourself what you've been carrying around without realizing it. If something like this has ever happened to you, a number, a song, a name that kept showing up right when you needed it, I'd genuinely like to know. Tell me in the comments. And if you like stories that live somewhere between psychology, spirituality, and the things we can't quite explain, this is exactly what Universe Allow is for. Stick around.